very rarely do I hear things like, my database is so clean, or everyone is using the database, or even, it's so easy to generate lists or pull reports. Now, on very rare special occasions, I have told clients that their database is in good shape. In fact, I just recently told a client the other day that I would eat off their database's floor because it was so tidy. Now, I've only ever said that once. Without standards, one of two situations will occur. First, no one uses the database because they don't know exactly what should be captured and where they should put it. Two, the database is a mess because people are putting data all over the place and not in the right fields. Both of those scenarios lead to multiple other problems. Your donor database is one of the best tools in your toolkit, but it's only effective if lists can be pulled, codes are used consistently, and everyone knows what to put in the database and where to put it. This is where your database standards come in. Standards are about articulating the common practices that ensure the consistency in your specific database environment. This is about putting a stake in the ground about how you use your organization's database. It's almost like a mini manual that says, we're going to capture this data and this is where it's going to live. Here are some standards to give you an idea of what we're talking about. No pledge will be entered into the database without written documentation from the donor and corresponding pledge schedule. We will not use any titles like Mr. or Mrs. unless the constituent has a formal title like Doctor or the Honorable. And one more. Every gift will have a campaign fund and appeal. So standards should be built for every module and every field in your database. And when I say every field, I mean every field. You might look at the screen where you do gift entry and think, I don't need to write a standard about gift date because that's common sense. Oh no, my friend. I once had an hour-long discussion about what is the gift date. Is it the date on the check, the date of the postmark, the date it's received by the organization, the date that it's entered into the system, or the date that the money is deposited? Another example is marking a record as deceased. You might think, oh, it makes a lot of sense to just tick the little box that says someone is deceased. No. When we clean up databases, we find that inevitably someone has put in a note somewhere that a constituent is deceased, or they've uploaded an obituary but never really got back to ticking that checkbox. So assume that nothing is common sense. When you start to think about all the fields and modules in your database, it can become overwhelming. That's where the Database Standards Blueprint course comes in. In this course, you'll get draft standards for your database so you really don't have to start from scratch. This is 10 pages of amazing standards. We'll also teach you how to engage the team, get buy-in from the team, and then successfully implement those standards. So I'll place a link below so you can find out more about the course. Now, standards are an absolute game changer. So let's talk about some of the benefits. If someone new comes into your development department, you can hand them the standards and they're going to know exactly how to use your database. Otherwise, it feels like just another set of fingerprints that just ultimately further clutters the data. Now, once your standards are established, you'll have a blueprint of what the perfect database looks like. So you can use those standards to clean up your database so it meets standard. I hope that I've convinced you of the power of standards. If you need guidance, check out the Database Standards Blueprint and get started on your standards today.